Okay, so now the texture part of the tutorial. Um, in our Tech 9, we have a few textures here. Um, we are going to need all of them, plus an additional one that we're going to make in Blender using the baked lighting setup. Uh, so, what we're going to need to do is we're going to go back into UPK Explorer, and we're going to need to export a few of the pistol textures. Okay, so now that UPK Explorer has loaded up, we're going to extract a few textures. So because in my game I have the Golden Pistol DLC installed, we're going to, so that means that's the one that's going to show up in the game. So we're going to extract that. But if you're using the normal pistol, you're going to want to extract the non-gold colors. Yeah, so we're going to extract the diffuse pistol. Do not click this. I almost just did. We're going to click this little thing up here that says export DDS. I was doing the normal one. I need the gold, actually, like I was saying. Gold color spec. Here we go. Gold diffuse. Gold mask. And gold normal. All right, so we've exported those, and those have ended up in this folder as well, under the name exports. And in this map, this is the normal texture maps, and then this is this BC5 is the normal maps. These are the let's see. We can just, this is from another mod I'm working on. We can get rid of this just for, we can get rid of this because we won't be using that. Okay, so we have exported the color spec, diffuse, and mask texture. And then the normal maps, and just delete this too, because this is the only one we need for the tutorial. These are the normal maps, these weird looking ones. Yeah, these will control the detail on the gun. So yeah, so we've gotten these all named up. Now what I like to do is take these and just copy them, and we're going to paste it into the imports in the same folders, BC5 to BC5 on the imports. If you do not have a folder named imports, you're just going to want to set it up like this. So pasting it into the DXT1. I do this for a reason. It is very, it makes things really easy later on. So here we go. We're going to go to our Tech 9 and grab our textures. And you see we have our stuff set up because I got the glossiness and diffuse and specular. These all are going to just be put in pretty easy here. So diffuse, we're just going to move this in here. I'm going to rename and copy this name and paste that name, and then it should slide right behind. So basically, because they have the same name but different extension, they'll be lined right next to each other like this. So that's how I keep track of everything. And then we're going to need to do the specular. We're going to move it over into this folder. This is the imports folder again. And we're going to rename this guy and copy and paste, slide it in right there. And then as you can see, this is where the light bake as well as the TCP texture color packer is going to come into play. So this is where the tutorial starts to get a little more complicated. We're going to copy this name. We're going to just do the same thing here and rename just like that. And then while we're here, this is actually, we'll just head on over to BC5 and we'll do the normal map here. Same thing, copy, rename, paste. All right, so everything's set up to be imported after a conversion to DDS. But this is not going to look exactly right in game because there is a, as you can see, those textures look differently, and it's labeled as mask, and this one's labeled as I believe this one was originally enabled as a gloss. So in this, it's a bit hard to explain, but in this, it's going to open up in Gimp really quick. In this, I'm going to explain how these mask textures work really quick. So they do this technique in this game called channel packing. Oops, 1 second. Yep. It does this technique called channel packing, where it combines two textures onto one, or sorry, two maps onto one texture. If we go up to here to components, and we go to, I believe it's channel mixer, you can actually see if I take in the red channel, or sorry, if I take the green channel and I move it down here, you can see that there's in the red color space of this texture, there is a lighting texture hidden, sort of quote unquote hidden in this texture. It's two textures overlaid on top of each other. So we go into the red channel and we take the red channel down. You can see this is the gloss texture, and then obviously the baked lighting texture is hidden under here. So we are going to replicate this ourselves really quick, and it's not actually that hard because I've set it up for you in the template. I've set the light baking up in the Blender file. So we're going to head right back over to the Blender file, and we're going to make this texture really quick, and then we're going to pack it using the color packer, and we're going to make this texture, and it's not going to be super hard. I'm hopefully going to explain this in an easy way here. Try my best at least. Okay, so heading back over to Blender, we're going to want to do a few things here. We are going to want to go into the shading tab here, and we're not going to re-export this because we have in FBX format and it's already looking good in game. So what we're going to do now is, as you know, last thing we did with this thing before exporting last time was scaling it up to 100 and then applying the scale one more time. We're going to want to undo that really quick. So if you close the tab and you can't do Control-Z anymore, do not worry. We're going to just go back over to here and just type in 0.01, oh sorry, 1, and that should offset the scale in the opposite direction, the exact amount that we need to get it back to this scale here. And then we're just going to object apply all transforms. Okay, here we go. We're going to then go into the materials tab, and we're just going to get rid of this material. So it's white like this. Then we're going to want to add a new material, and we're going to want to add an image texture, and we're going to want to go and look for that Tech 9 normal map. So I believe where we left that was in the imports in BC5, and we're going to look for the PNG. We're going to click on that. We're going to change the color space to non-color. So on the texture down here in color space, non-color. And then we're going to the way I'm doing the search function here is I'm hitting F3 on my keyboard. And we're going to type normal map. Color to color. Oops, normal to normal. And then here we go. We've added our normal map detail onto this thing. It's going to make the baked lighting look much better if this normal map is included. So now what we're going to want to do is make one more new texture. We're going to go to F3 like I was doing, and we're going to want to type an image texture one more time, or a new image. And we're going to we can keep it at 1020 by 1020, 10 by 1024 by 1024. It's no issue here with the resolution. It's not really seen too much, but it'll make the gun look correct. But yeah, no, all good. 1024 is just fine. Click OK. Oh, and it seems as though it's not made it for some reason. Let me try again. Sorry, image texture. I was right the first time. New. There we go. And then we're going to leave it blank. If you open it up here, it's saved as United 2 right now. We're just going to save it as fake. And then if I go into the texture editing space, you can see it as fake here. All right, so what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to select the gun. Here we go. We have this fake setup right here. We're going to want to, so this camera right here hides it in the render. And when we bake lighting, we're going to want to make sure that everything we do not see, if you keep this here, this will show up in the bake in some form, and it will create a bunch of weird shadows all over the gun. So what we're going to want to do is hide it and then hide it in the render as well. This is the viewport, and this is the render. And we can keep these two, that's fine, but we're going to hide all of the whole arms folder here. We can just make sure that everything is hidden in the render that we do not want. We just want to render in the bake just this gun here, and the lighting as well. Because what we got to do now is go into this bake lighting tab and hit view, and it basically just sets up this lighting right here. And then what happens is we're going to go over to the cycles renderer, and it's going to I've set this lighting up to match the way that the bake lighting works in Bioshock. This is as close as I've gotten it to appear. Yeah, this is how they decided to bake the lighting, I guess. Yeah, so I've set up my little fake light here. We're going to go into the render tab, and like I said, we're rendering in cycles. Do not use EV. So hopefully your computer can support cycles. I've set mine to GPU compute. The max samples to 1024. We can do a render denoise. That's all good. And then if you scroll down in this tab right here, the render tab, you should see an option that says bake. We're going to want to set it to combined and everything turned on here. And then all we're going to want to do is select here the object, and then select our new texture here, and then just click the bake button, and then it should bake this lighting onto a new texture, and then it should appear right over here. All right, so it's created a whole new lighting texture map. Yeah, so we've got that saved. So all we got to do now is you can go into the, I have this little tab open in the shading. Yours may not look like this. But yeah, so we're just going to want to make, this is the, what is this? The image editor window. So you can pull up a window here, and you pull up the image editor, and you should find your bake texture, and then we need to save it to the desktop here. So image, save as. Bake PNG, we'll save it. Actually, yeah, we'll save it into, for my organization's sake, I'm going to save it into my imports here with the rest of my textures. So here we go, bake PNG, color depth, everything is here is fine. Save image, and now we can close Blender, and we are done with Blender. We're done with making textures too, except for the color combine color packer here. Okay, so we got. Okay, so now we got the new bake, and we got this gloss map here. We're going to need to combine it into one texture. So we're going to open the color packer now, TCP color texture color packer. Wait for it to load really quick. There we go. Looks like I've maybe loaded it twice. I have. Okay. And now what we're going to want to do is in the red channel here, we're going to want to add, and we're going to want to locate, here we go, the imports, T1, and then you won't see anything. You're going to want to change this to PNG. and then we're going to want to make that red channel our bake. And then in the green channel, we're going to want to make it our gloss right here. Right now it's called mask because it's once we pack it and resave it, it'll be this one. All right, so mask. Here we go. So that's in the green channel, and that's the red channel, and then the blue channel is set to black. If you scroll here, that sets it to white. We need it black because there'll be nothing in the blue channel. Some more organic texturing will use the blue channel over the green channel. It just depends. But all the weapons in the game pack theirs like this, with the lighting, the baked lighting in the red channel, and the green channel has the glossiness. We're going to convert to a, we'll do a 4K. The game can accept up to 4K textures, I believe. And we're going to convert. And look at that. Doesn't that look a lot like what this looks like? Yeah, because that's how they did it. Yeah. So we're going to export this now to the imports, and it should replace this guy. Oh, if I save it correct. So we'll just rename this. Copy, paste. Make sure to save it as a PNG, or else it won't be able to convert to the DDS. Here we go. Save. Oops, that was extremely loud. In my ears, at least. We want to replace it, yes. And refresh. Yep, there we go. So now we can delete this bake. And we got the setup. Here we go. The gold mask. The color diffuse. Just the diffuse in the color spec. Got them all, including the normal. Okay, now all we got to do, we can close this now. We can, yes, we can go to the DDS Converter now. This will convert our textures into a readable format and then override these guys. So, source folder. We're going to want to do our imports and click on this folder here that we're working on. And then output folder, same folder because I'm working from all the same folder here. And saving it as a DXT1. Yep, we want to convert them to that form of DDS. Or I think I've been calling them DDS. Yeah, it is DDS. Okay. For some reason I thought it was DSS for a second. And then we're just going to convert to those PNGs to DDS. And I learned something. If you're getting a thing here where it doesn't show convert, if it's just not like letting you convert the PNGs, so you see how it is a capital PNG. If you save your PNGs as capital PNG, it will not recognize them. You have to save them as lowercase PNG, or else this program will not recognize them as PNGs, even though they are PNGs. They just have a lowercase PNG instead of uppercase PNG, even though they have uppercase right here. It's very odd. Maybe just something I'll run into, but I thought I should say it here. Anyway, we've converted them. You can see it has now taken these and converted them into DDS and overridden. We need to do this one more time for the normal maps, BC5. We'll go into BC5 here. This is where we saved our normal map earlier. And then we'll just go back into the converter here, make the source folder that BC5 imports BC5 and outputs imports BC5. We'll convert this one into this one. So if I open this up, you can see that right now it looks like that. But once I convert this, I'm going to make sure to change this DXT1 to BC5 and then convert it. And now you won't see a change here because you can't see these files in the viewer. But if you open it up, sure enough, it's using the Tech9 one instead of the other one now. It's converted it to that more green normal map. So you can choose to delete the PNGs now. I like to keep them in there just as a backup. Once we import it, you can just do whatever you want. So what we're going to do now is we can hide this now and go back to UPK Explorer. And all we got to do is hit Create Texture Pack and then refresh this tab right here. And it should recognize all of our new textures: color spec, diffuse, mask, and normal here. Yeah, so All we got to do now is, and this actually takes longer than importing models, oddly, but yes, we're going to create a texture pack here. And this should just add it to the my mod that was created earlier. As you can see, I think it starts, yep, populates it with a few more pieces of information here. So we've made our game patch. Just going to do that one more time. And we made our texture pack. And luckily, this you don't have to do this multiple times. This will take effect for every single instance of this texture in the game. No issue. So we've made the pack. So let's go back now that we've finished all that. Let's go back into Bioshock Infinite and see if it worked and how the light reflects off those new glossiness and the color maps that we made. Yeah, let's go check it out. So just like before, we're just gonna select my mod, and it should now give you the option for updating more packages like the DLC, because it finds those weapon textures and it notices that those textures are in fact in each DLC. We're just going to want to not interfere with any of the DLCs, because all this will do is update the textures in the DLC but not update the models in all the DLC, so it's going to make our guns look weird in all the DLC. So we're just going to update Bioshock Infinite. Do not hit this. Just update Bioshock Infinite, unless you are in fact making a texture mod. Yeah, so it should actually update a lot more packages than the 4 that we did before, because those textures are in a lot more packages. If you do texture modding, it does a lot more. Yeah, so just 2 more packages here. And we'll go launch Bioshock Infinite and see how it looks. All right, here we are in Bioshock Infinite. I realized that during the earlier part of the tutorial, I switched around when importing the textures. I switched around the specular and the diffuse so it didn't appear right in game. Since then, I've imported the third-person model, so it won't show up in game like this. If you just import the first-person model, I have since imported the third-person model, but now the texture should appear correct and have a nice gloss to them and reflect bright light correctly, and should work with all the different texture maps really well and reflect the grunge and the scrapes in the correct way. But yeah, so now now the weapon mod tutorial is complete. Hope you all enjoyed and have a good one.